On to you, Aries. You have the Page of Swords, the King of Wands, Four of Swords, the Justice, the Star, the Strength, Eight of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, yep, and the Six of Wands. So, Justice, Libra, which is your exact opposite zodiac sign. Okay, so let's get into it. So, so for you Aries, right, a lot of you Aries may be in a position of self-sabotage. Or you were, and you had to learn to walk away from that self-sabotage. Because the Page of Swords, if pay attention to the way that the person is holding the sword is actually turned around on them, if you're paying attention to it. The blade is pointed towards them, even though they're the ones that's actually holding it. So it's really about self-sabotage in most cases, right? Especially when drawn this way in this deck. So the King of Wands and the Four of Swords represents, so a lot of you Aries have to learn to get over the self-sabotage. Whatever kind of relationships that didn't work out, put those to the side. Those relationships are done now. They're finished. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you have put them to the side, behind you. You're not dealing with that anymore. A lot of you Aries are very much so interested in the future. But at the same time, a lot of you Aries have to understand that the best thing for you to do is to realize that you are great people, but you have to work at that, because Aries, y'all could be a zodiac sign sometimes that can get in your own way by not really doing what you need to do, and by rubbing a lot of other people the wrong way. You can be disrespectful. And you set yourself back by doing this. So I don't want you Aries start messing up. So the King of Wands and the Four of Swords represents, you need to do yourself justice. You need to do yourself a favor by understanding that those relationships are behind you, and that you're someone completely different now. And you have been changing, you've been growing, you've been making the right decisions lately. Some of you, very few of you, right? I'm sure the ones over here who's been watching my videos, I'm sure a lot of y'all have been making the correct decisions. But for the other Aries, I don't know, out into the ether, I don't know. But then the Star represents your intentions. A lot of you Aries want to reach for the stars. You want to reach for the highest goals imaginable, because you have a new form of self-worth. So it's not just about just a relationship. You want a relationship, yes, but you want one that is very much so very good, functional. The two of you get along. It has purpose, right? The two of you are going to be in love, start a family, all of that. And a lot of you Aries really understand that y'all happen to be in a particular situation where y'all are good. You know, if this is what it is that you want, a lot of you Aries need to understand, excuse me, that it's a goal, and that you need to actually take the steps towards getting to your goal. If not, then they're just delusions. You understand? That's all they are. Literally, it's just delusions. So if that's the case, a lot of you Aries need to understand that since that's the case, right? The Star card is about how I should say the Justice is also about how it's what's behind or before the Star. So it's saying don't just dream about it, but actually take action like you normally do with everything else. Do yourself a favor and do actually take action, because Aries will have great ideas, but a lot of the times when an Aries is dysfunctional, y'all will have great ideas, but then y'all won't act on the wonderful great ideas. A lot of the times when y'all are in your lower nature, y'all will act on all the dysfunctional ideas. And it's like, what? That doesn't even, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't even make any sense. So then you have the Strength. And the strength now represents, but you're also learning how to value yourselves, because one of the problems that a lot of you Aries have is valuing yourselves quietly, right? A lot of you Aries will really be in situations where you try to come off like you value yourself, right? And that's where the pushiness, some of it, that's where some of the pushiness while in a relationship comes from. But a lot of the times, a lot of the times for you Aries, it really comes from not knowing who you are, because not knowing who you are and kind of having kind of like a crisis where it's like you're trying to figure that out through love. And the strength represents, excuse me, how a lot of you Aries are realizing that you are finding out more and more who you are. And a lot of you Aries are also finding out that you don't have to be in a relationship, specifically a terrible one, to know that you're happy. You don't want to be in a very dysfunctional, terrible relationship. A lot of you Aries very much so want to be in a relationship that works and functions. But if you're not getting the quality of the person where they're at least decent, I mean, that is the most important thing, then it is what it is. A lot of you Aries are not going to be with these people because the Eight of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. You realize, or you should realize, that a lot of you Aries, with these types of people who aren't real, they're only going to be around when things are good. When things are not good, then now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, whether you're literally asleep, like physically asleep in bed with the person, snoring or whatever, even if you don't snore, the person can get up and leave your life, steal some of your stuff, excuse me, or the person will leave your life out of nowhere, ghost you, or out of nowhere send you text messages, because that's the hot stuff. People will break up with you online or through text messages or something like this, through the phone. They won't even break up with you face to face. And they'll be like, hey, what's going on? I want to go ahead and leave, when things go terribly. Because now things are going terribly, right? They don't have the convenience of you Aries up and winning and things are convenient. So the Four of Pentacles now represents you have to learn to start taking care of you. When I see the Four of Pentacles, I see very much so a person who is justified in being selfish, a person who is justified in wanting to enjoy themselves, by themselves, for themselves. And the Six of Wands represents, and don't let anybody try to convince you that you're a weirdo, you're weird, you're dysfunctional, because like I said before, there is something happening where a lot of people are getting out of the dating pool because they realize how dysfunctional it can be, right? And they understand how dysfunctional it can be, and it is, and they understand that they are freaking done. So you Aries deciding to still be in it, a lot of you Aries happen to be in a position right now where you need to have that level of self-respect, not overconfidence, self-respect. Because when you're meeting people, a lot of the times, more often than not, people are going to be running games, because that's the majority of what's out in the pool. People playing games. Now, obviously, not every single last person is doing that, but most people are going to be doing that. And you need the self-respect in order to make sure that you don't quit, and in order to make sure that you don't lose your mind, right? So let's clarify some of these cards. Let's clarify the Four of Pentacles now. You have the Star, the Sun, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Tower. So this is about how a lot of you Aries, right? But you will, if you continue to hang out with other people, yes, you will have people who want to talk to you. But the Sun represents, but there's a caveat. There's a stipulation or something that you need to do first, which is to respect yourself first. So that no matter what games people play, you're going to be good because you have self-respect. You have that foundation. The Wheel of Fortune and the Tower represents, and when relationships end, you won't be so heartbroken because of the fact that you're the hopeless romantic. So just want to say thank you.